Chivas are the champions, my friends, and they kept on fighting till the end against Pachuca. It was a crazy final, not only the away, but also the home game, which also put a little bit of a record there to really just tie up after such a beautiful season. Chivas fans basically filling the Estadio Akron, 40,000, almost 500 that we saw, and that is a record for this Chivas institution. Katia, Castorena, Cristina, Alexander with you guys, because we have been talking about not only the regular season, but also what this party has been with the Liguilla, Katia, which is, I don't want to say finally over. We finally know who's champion, but we never want the season to end. Of course, we want it to just keep extending because it's been so entertaining to see how these women, how these professionals have really just come forward and gave a fabulous spectacle to give us the new champion for their second occasion, historically speaking, with Chivas with that crown this season.
Definitely, and we wanted this season to keep on going. We definitely saw very exciting games, and I think it was very fitting that we saw Pachuca and Chivas facing off in a final once again, because if we go back to that Apertura 2017, the first Women's Liga MX tournament, it was actually these two teams that faced each other in that final. Chivas lifting the trophy in that occasion, and now doing it once again against Pachuca. And I'm saying that it's only fitting because it's a way to see the way this league keeps on growing, and that growth from the players, from the spectacle. And what about the fans? Like you said it, almost a sellout there at Chivas Stadium, over 40,000 fans, an atmosphere, an unbelievable atmosphere supporting the team. And then what a spectacle what we saw on the field as well. Gold, drama, a penalty kick that was stopped by Blanca Felix for Chivas against Charlyn Corral, the top goal scorer for Pachuca this season. I mean, also a little bit of drama when it comes to the referee. I mean, it was just amazing, and Chivas definitely, getting the trophy was very special because of what we saw during this season, where they had an almost perfect tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. The first time we saw them lost this season wasn't until basically since the Liguilla started. So it's just a beautiful reflection of what this season has been for Chivas. A team that at the end of the day, we saw this reactive team against Pumas. We saw a reactive team against Tigres coming back, tying that global score 2-2 to really just make it to the final. And also now here against Pachuca, because we know that Pachuca had really put a battle up front against this Chivas team that at the end of the day had to react as well. And, if we really focus on what this 1-0 was, Chivas was really close to seeing that tied up again, thanks to Charlyn Corral. I think more thanks to Blanca Felix, who had that fabulous stop as well. I don't think Charlyn Corral missed it as much as Blanca Felix stopped that penalty kick. Like you said, a little bit of drama. I think in the ingredients list to really just make a tasty dish with this final, I really can't complain, Katia, because we did see a little bit of everything. We saw a really good fight from Pachuca. I loved Viridiana Salazar, not only in the away game, but also in this final match. Charlyn Corral, Ocampo, Angeles. So Pachuca has a lot of really interesting players, and they should not be disappointed at all for having lost this final. Charlyn Corral should not be disappointed for having missed that penalty, because I think there's only one way for Pachuca now, and that's up for next season.
And that's what we love about sports, right? And there's always going to be a winner and then a loser, but definitely we want to say what an amazing job Pachuca has done. And when we see that core of veterans, like you mentioned, Viri, Monica, they were a part of that team that played that first final. Once again, they were in the big stage, didn't come up with the win, but they were fantastic throughout the first leg, the second leg, and then just like we mentioned, that showing the evolution. And when we talk about Pachuca, and we mentioned it here, halfway through the season, changing in the head coach. It was difficult. And I think what they did coming back from those difficulties and getting to the final was definitely very special. And it only shows what's to come for them in the next tournament, especially when this was Charlyn Corral's first season back in Mexico. And then she said how special it was also as that responsibility as an important player for what the national team has been in the past years and what she represents, what she did abroad, what she did in Spain. Opting to be in the Mexican League to keep on helping it grow. I think it was very special what we saw, and they're just going to keep on fighting. And then when it comes to Chivas, it was also very gratifying to see that culmination of a great project once again, where they've invested, they've made great signings as well, like Jaro Jaramillo, to have that balance in the team. When we saw them go unbeaten in the regular season, only one defeat during the playoffs, they were the most balanced team in terms of like goals and defense. Licha Cervantes getting the golden boot. I mean, everything where you look at, plus that unity that they had as a group, was very special to now see them lifting that trophy.
Yeah, and before we saw this Liga kick off with the quarterfinals, I remember a talk that we had actually right here in this segment, saying how we both saw Chivas in the final, and we said that with such confidence because of that beautiful balance that you just mentioned. And it's so important to see that that's something that a lot of the teams can do, and really just focus on their defense, because we do see a lot of really heavy score lines. I mean, in that Tigres matchup in the quarterfinals, it was a 9-1 total against Atlas in those two matches. And I hope that can start shifting and become a little bit more of an even playing ground, at least thinking about next season. And I think that's something that the bosses can really start thinking about what kind of signings they want to do, and also just focus on goal scorers like we do see with Alicia Cervantes. And I hope Charlyn Corral, we not only see her in the Liga MX Femenil, but also with the Mexican national team. I hope she makes a nice comeback, because if someone deserves it, it's definitely her. I love what we're seeing from people like Jaro Jaramillo. Jocelyn Montoya también had a great season, and she's such a dynamic player. And it really just excites me to what can come next season. Katia, and to kind of wrap things up a little bit, to what improvements we need to, or the league needs to do next season, right? Starting with a little bit of VAR, the technology to really just give the tools that this league really needs to be absolutely successful. And one of those tools being a little bit more money for these players, a lot more money for these players, so they can really just focus on being professional soccer players.
Definitely. And we're seeing that, and the league is moving towards that, to being more of a professional league for real, and what all of that entails in terms of having better salaries for the players, having insurance, having the VAR, as you mentioned, for the playoffs next season. All of these tools that will keep on making this league a better league. And I think the players deserve it, because they're so professional, the way they take care of their bodies, the way they go to work every day. And it's only fair that they get all of those benefits and they get those rewards, because they're putting in the work. So we're definitely excited to keep seeing that growth and where the league is going. That's super important. And we of course have to talk about Tigres and Rayadas, because those two teams have paved the way as well, showing what it's like. And it's not that we weren't happy to not see them in the finals, because they had been present in every single final aside from that first one where these same two teams faced off. But I think they've showed as well what it means to be more professional in that sense, to pay the players a little bit better, to go for those big signings, and all of the other teams are trying to catch up, and then they're doing a great job as well, and everything is just going to keep adding up, and we're excited to see it.
Absolutely. With that same excitement, we have to be off season for a little bit. We can't wait to see if there are immediate changes, at least for next season in the Liga MX Femenil. Right now, you Chivas fans can enjoy this little crown for the second time in your team's history. Katia, it's been a great season, and we'll see each other soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Until next time.